Movie review sesh.
What gives him the right?
Put it in.
Will, what did you think of Weird, the Al Yankovic story?
You know, I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't have really any expectations one way or the other going in. The only kind of outside influence I had heard, I hadn't looked at any reviews. I had just heard from you that you want to see this movie.
Oh, yeah.
And so we watched it together, which was an incredible experience.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thoroughly blown away.
Which is weird to say about the Weird Al Yankovic biopic.
But the Weird Al Yankovic story was a banger, honestly. And I am so happy that I got to indulge in its greatness.
Yeah, it was like Babylon, one of my favorite movies of the year. Obviously a very different type of movie. It's a comedy. It's a parody of the typical Hollywood biopic, which is perfect for a Weird Al Yankovic movie.
And he rises to become, as we all know, the most popular musician in the history of the earth.
They touch on all the cliches of typical Hollywood biopics, and one of those is the like for the Elvis movie, they'd have like the real Elvis's songs coming out of Austin Butler's mouth. So I saw Daniel Radcliffe and Weird Al said that that was something they definitely wanted to nail down and make sure they put an emphasis on, that it's just, you know, Weird Al Yankovic's voice coming out of Harry Potter's mouth, which is really enjoyable.
Another one rides the bus. Another one rides the bus. Ow! Another one rides the bus. Hey, hey! Another one rides the bus. Hey, 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 hey.
The way I initially heard about the movie was on Instagram. I was scrolling through and I saw actors in their upcoming roles, so I start sliding and I just see a picture of Daniel Radcliffe smoking a cigarette outside of his trailer in the Weird Al get up, and I was just like, all right, when's this coming out?
I'm sold.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, the first inclination towards this movie that I got was the official first, set release photo.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's him on a stage with like purple lights in the background in the full Weird Al get up, and he's got the mic and the fucking accordion. Yes, thank you. But it was you that pushed me to see it as soon as possible, and I thank you for that.
I initially watched it the first time by myself, and so obviously with comedy movies, which don't do well anymore, and they definitely don't come out in theaters, I can't remember a time where I sat and watched a comedy movie by myself and was just laughing out loud.
Oh, Al, you can't smoke in here.
So initially, when the movie started, the dialogue to me felt like weird, and I didn't know if like they were in on the joke. And then there's the great line where his mom, and they're at the dinner table, and his mom just goes,
"Your dad and I agreed it would be best if you just stop being who you are and doing the things you love."
And from that moment,
I knew.
That's where you know what the tone of the movie is going to kind of be, and how it doesn't take itself seriously at all.
And it's just so perfectly apt that this movie is a parody of the biopic genre, as you mentioned, because what Weird Al does best is parodies of popular culture music.
Yes, he's super in touch with pop culture in a way that, for someone who writes parody songs, is the only one in the parody music genre history who has kind of endured and created a career. Because, usually you have like someone who creates a parody song and it's like a one and done.
He is a parody maestro. The fact that his movie is a parody is just so on brand, yet so refreshing.
Yeah.
Considering the past biopics like Elvis, Bohemian Rhapsody, Rocketman.
Yeah.
All movies which I've enjoyed for their characterization of these iconic people, but I've not like laughed at or felt connected to in any really way besides just entertainment value.
Yeah.
But this movie had me laughing my ass off. Previously, it was The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent with Nick Cage and Pedro Pascal. I thought that was the comedy of the year.
And yeah, when I saw it, I was like, I highly doubt that another movie this year is going to be this funny.
Maybe you should go, and I'll stay here.
I love that plan. I do. But you are a faster runner than me. I saw how fast you were in National Treasure.
No, that'd be the stunt department.
Not according to the making of featurette.
And then November hit, and the Weird Al Yankovic movie came out, and I was like, damn, it topped unbearable weight of massive talent for me. It's similar to his 1989 movie UHF. It's a very similar type of humor.
Well, I think the fries are just about done.
It's simple, but it's so clever. The movie is good at playing with your expectations too. Like there's a scene, the parody scene of the boogie scene, or boogie scene. There's the parody scene of the pool scene from Boogie Nights.
It really takes your expectations and puts them aside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And says, here's what you think is going to happen. We're going to do something a little bit different. And then in the cases where it is expected, it plays on it. Mm-hmm. Like the tropes of these biopics where it's like, oh, a new lover gets in the way of the bandmates.
I'm the weird one. I am the weird one.
It kind of plays with that and makes it fun and gives you like another twist on it that you don't really see coming. Yet you're all the more grateful for it because it's so enjoyable. Well, Weird Al himself shows up as the manager.
No, he's the record studio.
Yeah, the
guy.
record studio executive. Yes, and then Rachel Evan Moore.
Evan Rachel Wood.
Evan Rachel Wood.
As Madonna.
I apologize. As Madonna.
She was great as Madonna.
She was great. And I wasn't aware of the rumor that Madonna and Weird Al had dated.
Is that an actual rumor? I thought that was just something that the movie just decided to fuck with the audience with.
They actually played into that even though it actually didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was really clever.
Yeah.
And it really drives the plot forward and adds that conflict between him and his bandmates. But it doesn't feel standard.
It's very profitable for an artist if Al Yankovic covers one of their songs. So Madonna is just exploiting him for his fame and fortune.
Have you heard my new single, Like a Virgin?
Is that song autobiographical?
Yes. I technically am a virgin, except for the fact that I've had a lot of sex.
It's also a pretty fairly short movie. It's like an hour and 40 minutes. The only scene I wish was paced a little bit better, or I think it was a little bit of a detriment to the overall pacing of the movie, is the dinner scene. Yeah, the dinner scene with his parents, where you understand his dad and his backstory and why, in the movie's world, he was so hard on Al.
This is for your own good, boy.
It was still a really good scene, but that was the only thing that was just like the pacing. You kind of felt it a little bit. Like I think there was a way to make that particular scene a little more snappier. But what's impressive about it is that it actually lets all the characters and the dynamic between his dad and his mom. It really fleshes that out and kind of makes you care in a way that, you know, what you would think from a parody of the Hollywood music biopic would just treat as a joke. It actually takes the time to, you know, give some characterization to the dad and the mom, but never in a way that betrays the tone of the movie. It's not like it gets super dramatic all of a sudden.
And yeah, furthering on that point of it being true to the tone, the mother at this point has gained a substantial amount of weight. And so you think that would lead Al into, you know, creating his song like Fat.
Yeah.
But it doesn't.
No.
And he doesn't. Even the dad looks at him like, you know, hey,
the
like,
idea's right here.
Hey, it's right here.
So there's a certain point where he decides he's only gonna make original music, and So Eat It, in the world of the movie, is an original song and not a parody of the Michael Jackson Beat It. The real Weird Al, playing the record studio executive, informs Daniel Radcliffe that Michael Jackson has come out with a new song called Beat It.
What gives him the right? This could be great publicity. Sell a few more albums? No, I don't need to sell more albums! Ah!
That scene might be one of my favorite comedic performances ever, where he's just slamming the phone.
They're never gonna take me seriously. Every time they think of Eat It, they'll think of Beat It. And it's so just well performed.
Yeah.
And the delivery comedically is impeccable.
Which is something unique for Daniel Radcliffe too, because I don't think he's done a whole lot of comedy, but his comedic timing was great in this movie.
Order up.
It really showed off the range of his acting abilities. He's been, preferring more indie projects since his, send-off from the Harry Potter franchise. And so he's picking more, or chosen more, like, artistic roles.
Yeah. Or just fun roles.
Or just fun roles that he finds interesting.
It's very hard not to be charmed by a script where the main protagonist has guns for hands after about page 10.
I think he said he just checked his email one day and it was like Weird Al's email, and it was like in Eric Apple, and they were like, "You've been offered the part of Weird Al Yankovic," and he's like, "Yeah, I'm probably gonna do this."
And I was like, "Great, you got a premise, you're fully exploring it. I'm probably gonna do this movie."
We were talking about this off camera, but I've seen some reviews say that if you don't know a whole lot about Weird Al and 80s pop culture, then there's not a whole lot you're gonna get out of this movie. And I can definitely see that perspective in terms of like a lot of the references, like the pool scene.
I can definitely see that, but I don't think that, prevented my enjoyment of the film in any way.
There's more obscure references in there, specifically at the pool party scene, that a lot of people probably aren't gonna get. Like Wolfman Jack, who Jack Black plays, but it's Jack Black, so you're gonna get some enjoyment out of it, whether or not you know who Wolfman Jack is.
He's such a character in that scene that you don't need to know the background information.
I would say this movie is also a great example of what movies can be. They can be all types of things. It just depends on how it's executed, and it was definitely executed with precision. It was confident in what it was, and it's a very simple comedy structure, but it really takes advantage of all the details.
I mean, we've talked about how much fun we had watching it. You can tell how much fun they had filming it and making it.
Oh yeah, you can tell Daniel Radcliffe is having a blast.
Thank you.
But I guess that'll do it for the Weird Al Yankovic story. Sayonara.
Like a surgeon, hey, cutting for the very first time. Like a surgeon.